are again working on the Van Allsburg household, but we are decorating Albrecht Trumbauer's bedroom. Albrecht is basically an honorary family member at this point. He might as well be the child that Bartholomew and Amelie never wanted, mostly because he's a grown man, but regardless, he's here. Or would it be irregardless? I don't know, words are hard. It's very late in the evening. Yeah, you're gonna see bits and pieces of Bartholomew and Amelie's room, mostly because I already decorated it and I decided not to record it because I'd be like that. I could talk about Albrecht in this. Also, there's gonna be a lot of weird pausing because my game was just not having it, even though, I don't know, it gets moody. It gets real moody. So we'll talk a little bit about Albrecht, but then I will talk about Bartholomew and Amelie as well. Emily? No, that's not her name, it's Amelie. Goodness gracious. So Albrecht Trumbauer is Marlene Trumbauer's husband. He is the father of Linus and Jutta. He is Bert Trumbauer's older brother. They did have a really good relationship prior to him just yeeting himself out of the family. And yeah, he hasn't been doing too great for himself ever since. He's borderline alcoholic and just kind of a bit of a hermit, I would say. Like, he's not really involved with the royal family. He's just completely cut himself off. Mostly, I think, because he thinks people judge him. They probably do and probably should, but I don't think they would judge him as much as he is afraid that they would. He also feels really bad, really conflicted about the fact that he ditched his amazing wife for no reason whatsoever. I don't know, he's kind of a complex character. Because it's not like he left to like go live with a mistress or like disowned her or anything. Like, he just was so jealous that he could not handle it, and he decided that the adult's choice in that situation was just to leave. And yeah, like I said, he's been living with Bartholomew and Amelie ever since. Bartholomew and Amelie are an interesting couple as well, and I think, because he was already friends with Bartholomew, but I think Bartholomew is also the only person in the kingdom who would really understand where Albrecht was coming from better than anybody else, because Bartholomew had a wife, Azaria. That was his first wife, and she actually had an affair with his father, Piers. And when he found out, he was absolutely furious, and at that point he had started becoming interested in Amelie, who was Amelie Heydrich at the time. He'd gotten interested in her and was basically thinking about setting her up as his mistress, which he did do, but while this was all going on, he also basically divorced his wife, kicked her out, disowned both of their children at the time. I can't remember their daughter's name at the top of Adelaide. So, Jeremy and Adelaide, because he couldn't be sure if they were his children or his father's children, aka his siblings, and his mature, adult, rational decision to deal with that was just, no, I'm gonna get rid of him. I'm gonna kick him out. And he did, and they actually have a different surname now. It's the Oriel family, and Azaria is actually a nun now, which is interesting. Like a knology type nun. I don't know. When we get to her, we'll talk about her. So yeah, Bartholomew gets getting real upset about a wife that may or may not be faithful. And to be clear, Marlene was never unfaithful because she's not stupid. But it was just like the idea that she could be. Which, come on, Albrecht. Like, their marriage to begin with had started, they were both serfs at the time, so indentured servants to the Drago family. They were an arranged match, but they always really got along, and they were always really close to one another. And Marlene is actually a Sioux, so there's an NPC, Marcel Sioux, S-I-E-W, that comes with the game. She's related to him distantly. And also the Cormier families, so like Ricky Cormier. Or no, is she a Sioux? Oh my gosh, now I can't remember. I'm pretty sure she is. Yeah, so while they were an arranged match, there would be no reason for her to ever cheat on her husband, because she understood, even though they'd been raised to nobility, like, they needed to maintain that, so there could be no question that they belonged, which meant she was not going to cheat on her husband. Even if she wanted to, she is a romance sim, did have the thoughts, but she had never acted on that. Whether or not she would have done that in the future, I don't know. She never, like, woohooed with any other sims after Albrecht left, which I would have let her if she wanted to, but, like, she just didn't. Like, she'd have the thoughts, but she would never act on them. Like, autonomously? God, that words are hard right now, guys. So yeah, she just never, I would have let her, but yeah, she just never did. She actually ended up seducing Albrecht and having Linus, who in the original Adiran was truly born as male, as how some people would define male. But in this version, well, okay, there's been a couple versions since that point, because the last one got completely corrupted before I started it. And in that one, I just could not get Marlene to have a boy. Couldn't do it. Oh, this is me talking about their room really quick, but, you know. Yeah, I couldn't do it. Couldn't get her to have a boy, and I got irritated. So I'm like, fine, she's gonna have a girl who is raised as a boy because she needs an heir. But obviously, she didn't really think that one through. Didn't really think that one through. She knew she needed a son. She thought maybe if she had a son, Albrecht would come back. And then she decided to say Linus was her son, even though Linus is technically female. And now Linus is going through some things. I don't, again, I've said this before, I don't play this on, and like record it on YouTube because I would not enjoy it. But I do post lots of pictures and stories on Tumblr. And yeah, Linus is about to have a very bad time. His last round was just not great. So yeah, I guess I could talk a little bit about what I'm doing here. I said in the last video, I wanted them to have a sitting area, like a bedroom and a bathing room for these upper chambers. You saw it very briefly as I sped through Amelie and Bartholomew's room. That's how theirs is set up, and that's how I wanted to do it here as well. I wanted to make sure that there was kind of spaces, oh my god, words are hard. It was that kind of setup, basically, a suite rather than a bedroom. And along the way, I ended up getting, this usually happens with me, I get very attached to an idea as I'm just pulling, like, items out for decorating, which is a lot of times why I pull out those items not recording myself, because it's completely random, it doesn't make much sense, and it's apt to change at a whim. And that's what happened here, is I was grabbing some Tudor things, because I believe Tudor is the style that he prefers. I placed some furniture, you know, just some basic furniture. He did like music. I can't remember. I think he likes the lute. I don't know. I haven't quite assigned sub-hobbies to everybody yet, and sometimes I have the patience to do it while I'm decorating, and sometimes I don't. I believe his is the lute, though. Yes, me trying to place something. But yeah, as I started picking deco items, you will see I got a little bug about what if he just convinced himself that he was sick all the time and he became like the guest that was always on the verge of leaving, but oh no, I can't leave now, I have a cold. Oh no, I got the flu on it, my bone hurts. Just that kind of thing. It really amused me, like, to no end. And so I started adding a lot of different, like, medicines and potions and things like that. And yeah, that is now Albrecht. He was not really a hypochondriac before, but it really fits his character, especially since I'm doing a time jump. I can make these kind of changes, and making him a hypochondriac is perfect. It absolutely suits him. It's going to be so funny going forward because I'm going to roll a lot for if he thinks he's sick and what he thinks that he has, and that's going to be basically how I play him. So if I roll for that round where he thinks that round, oh, I have headaches, you know, I've got all these bad headaches, I'm going to die. So in keeping with, oh, he has headaches that round, well then for that round he's probably going to spend a lot of time in his room, in dark spaces, keep the lights off, that kind of thing. it just adds a little bit more to the gameplay, which is always what I enjoy and probably why I do and don't like Sims 4. Without mods, it's boring as all get out, but it has so much potential. Just kind of I want the game to die, honestly, so modders can just really go ham. Because I can see a Sims 4 version eventually of Adiran being really, really cool. I don't know. I've thought about it before, like, doing a YouTube version of Adiran that's in Sims 4 that would be like an alternative reality kind of thing, but I don't know, that's a lot of Sims. That's a lot of Sims, and I don't know if I want to make that many Sims in Sims 4. But I could. It would be nice to make them just because there are some things you just can't do currently in The Sims 2 easily. Like, there's mods, you can adjust height, but then the animations are wonky because they're not built for Sims to have major differences in heights. And there's body shapes, but it's still really clunky to use. Especially if you want it to be all the time and not just clothing. And I know there's some amazing modders and creators out there who've done things for it, but for me it's just... Side note, originally, this is why we're looking at his face, I recorded this with sound that I thought, so it was going to be real time. So I didn't, and so this was me apologizing, going, yeah, I didn't mean to decorate the whole room, I was just going to grab things, but then I fully decorated the space. And I regret nothing. This is actually, I guess going back to my YouTube roots, I decorated this room more than I've decorated any of the other spaces. And the main reason I haven't been over-decorating is I just want to play, and I figure I'll over-decorate as I go. Whereas before I was building a brand new neighborhood, so I really needed the over-decorating to help figure out the characters, which, RIP to my Viking hood, you never got to exist, and I'm so, so sorry. Although the other day, I just happened to throw it in. I was looking for something. I still have it, but the neighborhood doesn't show up a lot of the times, which is a known issue with, like, Ultimate Collection versus not having the Ultimate Collection. And on my old PC, I didn't have Ultimate Collection. I had all the packs anyway, so I didn't need it. But I do on this one, because at that point I had to download it, because, yeah. And yeah, so I did see it the other day, and so I am tempted to see if I can get it to work. Wish me luck on that one, because I do miss it. I'm just talking about what I did. All the things that I basically just told you about him being very much into the medicine, a little messy, likes music, and that's pretty much Albrecht Trumbauer. Like I said, he is permanently going to be living in this house. He is not going to go back home to his wife. Or that was the plan, but we'll see. So yeah, thank you guys so much for joining me. If you have any thoughts, opinions, suggestions, what have you, leave them down below, and I will see you in the next one.